audible to all of you? Chat box में पर देखो. Yes sir. ठीक है. So we are going to begin, and I hope you guys have read the notes that were given to you day before yesterday, division of labor. Okay. Keep reading the notes whenever they are given to you. Don't delay reading those notes. Okay. The notes that are given to you are simply, like a revision note. It will help you to revise, and you will be able to understand those notes only if you have gone through classes properly. Otherwise, you would, because when you read those things flash by in your mind. The things that you might have heard in the classroom, those things then start making connection. It's an organic process. Okay. So keep doing that. Now, let us begin the next topic. Elementary forms of religious or elementary forms of religion, I would say. The next topic. Now this topic is the one topic, purely I would consider this topic to be the first topic of sociology. So far you have not read sociology. Okay. So far you have only been introduced to the methods sociologists talk about, or the struggle over the tag of science, whether we should be scientific or not, or what amounts to be called as scientific. Okay. Are we really scientific or not? Or the emergence of sociology. But so far you have not read what sociology really deals with. Even if you have read so far, you may not be able to understand how sociologists really deal with those things in real life. When Durkheim studied this phenomena, religion, it was considered as a landmark movement. Landmark movement in the development of sociological theories. When I'll teach you Durkheim on religion, you would have to assume that Durkheim is someone who has descended from Mars. He does not belong to Earth. Remember this thing? And I told you this thing very clearly in the last topic itself, that we have to treat social facts as things. Okay? Things as it seemed to us. Okay? Not what we believe about those things. That should not be mattering to you anymore. More so when we are studying sociology, the preconceived notions, values and judgments should be kept aside, and we would be reading the things as it seemed to us. Okay. One day, Durkheim descended on one island. The name of the island was, and you also call it a group of islands, Melanesians. Melanesia. Group of islands. Okay, southeast of Indonesia. Melanesia. And Durkheim came from Mars. And directly from Mars, he landed on this island. Okay. When he landed on this island, he saw some people. He saw some people. Okay. He does not know who they are. He just trying to see those people. Just trying to see those people. Okay. Although I'm just trying to tell you, I'm just trying to draw an analogy. It's not that literally Durkheim visited that island, but I just want you guys to understand what exactly Durkheim did when he studied these people. One day, what happened? These people were sitting together, and not just sitting together. In fact, they had also put on a unique kind of cloth. A unique kind of cloth. All of them had put on leopard skin cloth. Okay. Durkheim descended on this island, saw these people, and he saw some people had put on this leopard skin cloth. And what are they doing? And Durkheim is watching them closely, okay, from behind a tree, okay. And he saw those people gathered together one fine night. All of them gathered together, and they were chanting something. All of them held their hands together like this. With the leopard skin cloth, they held their hand together like this. And then their head was, you know, looking through the sky. They were trying to look through the sky, all in a similar position, standing like this, chanting something that is not decipherable. Durkheim, since he belongs to Mars, he does not know what exactly they are chanting. But Durkheim can hear some people collectively gathered together and saying something that is not decipherable to him. After 1 or 2 minutes, Durkheim sees these people are not in motion anymore, standing still. And Durkheim is feeling very strange why they are not moving. Why they are not moving? What has actually held them static? Why they are not moving? They are chanting. After 2 minute chants, they stopped chanting. Everything was silence, complete silence. And Durkheim is in shock. What is happening to them? Okay, what is happening to them? And then comes the main scene, the final scene of the movie. After 1 minute, Durkheim sees that these people had actually gathered around an object, small object. Okay, when these people dispersed gradually, then Durkheim got to know what exactly that object was around which these people had gathered and around which these people were chanting something that is not decipherable to him. Okay. And the object around which these people had gathered was nothing but a small symbol. The symbol was in the shape of leopard only. The symbol was leopard. Just imagine leopard as a toy, like a toy. A leopard made of grass. Leopard made of grass. Imagine like this. These people had gathered around an object that is not known to me. I'm from Mars. I do not know what is leopard. Okay. But something very strange, something which is not like these people. Okay. And the clothes that this symbol had put on was very much similar to the clothes these people had put on. Okay. Right? Now, One fine evening, once again, Durkheim saw these people. And you know what happened next night? Durkheim saw that next night, all these people have actually killed leopard. The real leopard, not a symbol, but the real leopard was killed. Now, I'm from Mars. I'm Durkheim. I'm from Mars. I do not know what is happening. Okay? I do not know what is happening. However, one day, one fine day, I tried to learn their language. And then I got to know that this is what they call their religion. It was their religion. And since I do not know what is religion, I'm from Mars. I simply recorded. This is what you call what? Religion. How do you spell it? R-E. Okay, okay. I am from Mars. Okay, preconceived notions set aside. Watching things as if they are coming to my eyes. Okay. I recorded this as religion. Now, one fine day, I again went to some other island. And this time, it was not leopard, it was crocodile. It was not they killed leopard, they killed crocodile. And they had not put on leopard skin cloth. They had put on crocodile skin cloth. Everything was similar. People were there. They had collective gathering also, like this. They had gathered. They had gathered around an object, a symbol of crocodile. These had put on crocodile skin clothes and they killed crocodile after the whole ceremony got ended. They killed the crocodile. Okay. And I talked to these people. They told me it is religion. I recorded this in my notebook again. Okay. Now, the fact is, in these two cases, I have found one similarity. Collective gathering is there. Okay. Collective chanting is there. They chant something. And when they are chanting, they are lost. I don't know what happens to them. I try to, move them, but I'm afraid. I'm not touching them. But, they are in a trance position. Somehow they feel they have elevated to another level. They have gone into transcendence. Okay. And looking at these people, I am not in a position to touch them even a little bit. I'm scared. Okay. Because these things are giving me goosebumps. When I watch them, I also feel goosebumps. Although I'm not person who belongs to those people. I'm not one of them, but still I'm feeling somehow that energy which they have transcended into. Okay. And they call it their religion. Okay. Now, I do not know what is religion. I do not know what is religion. They call it their religion. Now, I'm going to show you something. Okay. And your task would be to listen to that like a person who does not belong to earth. If you can do that, only then you can get 300 plus marks. If you cannot do that, then you would not be able to score 300 in sociology. You would have to watch those things as if you do not belong to this place. You do not know what is IAS, UPSC. These things are very secondary and tertiary, or even quaternary or pentenary. Okay, what is most important is to understand what is happening here. Okay, the clips that I'm going to show you. But before that, I would like to touch upon this topic briefly. Okay, I have shown you one trailer here. Okay, the trailer is over. Now I'm going to tell you briefly about this concept, and then I'll show you the clips, and then we'll get back to this concept. Okay, the question is, the question is, what is religion? A very basic question. What is a religion? You know, when I ask this question to a scientist who has won Nobel Prize, when I ask this question to that scientist would say, it is pseudoscience. Religion does not exist. It is myth. You know, it's about spirits, other world, mythology, magical something, and these things are nonsense. Okay, religion does not exist per se. You cannot observe God. Can you test the God? Can you test whether God exists or not? These are only stupid or nonsensical belief among the people. It's a reflection of the primitive thinking. How would people ever get modern if they are still living in the primitive stage? Now, this is the kind of thought process that scientist has. I would like to ask you, is that scientist objective while speaking these things? Is he really objective in the sense completely devoid of the values? No. Okay, he is not devoid of values. I asked the same question, what is religion? To a psychologist. The name of that psychologist is Sigmund Freud. Sigmund Freud told me religion is wish fulfillment. You want someone to be there for you. You always want, you have this unconscious desire for someone to be there, someone to safeguard your interest, someone to keep a watch on you. You always desire this. It is your unconscious desire. And in the primitive era, we were monkeys, we were horde. And one fine day, we had developed this desire to have sexual relation with our mother monkey. And that moment, we killed our father. And the guilt that we had developed after killing our father has passed on to this generation. And when you see someone praying relentlessly like a mad person, that is nothing but obsessive compulsive disorder. He is a victim of that same killing that he had done to his grandfather. And now he is not able to come over this guilt, and that is why they are always in a position like this, and they are not ready to listen to anything when they are in this position. Shut up, shut up, shut up. This is obsessive compulsive disorder, OCD. You would see your mother like this, and she would never want anyone to distract her. Okay? And this is OCD. Religion is nothing but obsessive compulsive disorder. When I ask this question to philosopher, what is religion? Philosophers, they talk about, like for example, Ludwig Feuerbach. Feuerbach once said, religion is nothing but a force that tells you about the ideal humanity. A force that gives birth to God. God is presented as omnipotent, omniscient, almighty, someone who can never do wrong. And when he is projected as a figure like this, all of us feel deprived in comparison to that person. All of us aspire to be like that. And all of us try to be like God. And God therefore acts as a reference point for an ideal humanity. This is what, in the eyes of Ludwig Feuerbach, a philosopher, religion is. When I ask this question, what is religion, to a theologist? Theologists are those people who study religion, they preach religious theories and studies to the students. They would talk about all the religions giving us common message. Okay, they would talk about Sikhism, Hinduism, Buddhism. This is what religion is to them. And they would talk about the verses in the Qurans, in Quran or in the Bhagavad Gita, or these verses have common meaning. God is one. This is what religion is to them. Okay, a force that is giving us this message that all of us are one. The problem is, all these people, when they talk about religion, they are somehow not touching upon the essence of what actually forms the religion, what actually makes us believe that this is a religion. They are not touching upon that aspect. When I ask this question to an anthropologist, what is religion? Anthropologist would tell me, religion is nothing but belief in spirits. Spirits is something that we had belief in the primitive age. It is very much present in the tribal societies. Animism is one form of religion that we should study. Edward Burnett Tyler, E.B. Tyler, he talks about animism. Okay, and he talks about evolution of religion. Religion evolves. Okay, it is largely about supernatural and spirits, something like this. Now, but when a sociologist is asked this question, what is religion? Sociologist, first of all, would treat religion as a thing that is not known to him. Rather, he would want to know religion from you. What is religion? Rather, he would ask you. He would say, I do not know what is religion. I just want to understand what exactly you guys consider as religion. Okay, so to me, religion is nothing but an object. Okay, simply an object. What is object? What do we mean by object? Durkheim says that after intensive study, I have observed that somehow collective beliefs, collective thinking, and collective acting is something that is present in what people call as religion. Whatever they may call as religion, they have these things. Collective beliefs are there. Collective thinking is there. Collective acting is there. All these things are there. Okay. If you remember that Melanesian island, they had collectively gathered. Collective beliefs they had. They were in some trance zone when they had gathered together and they were held their hands together. This is what he had observed so far. And, you know, finally, you also know that they had gathered around something, a symbol. So let us try to understand and define religion according to the observation that Durkheim made on that island. And after observation, Durkheim came up with this conclusion that religion, as was being observed by me, can be defined as nothing but a set of beliefs and practices Set of beliefs and practices related to sacred, related to, I'll explain the meaning of this word, related to sacred, centering around, centering around which people constitute, people constitute a moral community called as church. This moral community is called as church. Write this down first. Religion is a set of beliefs and practices, comma, beliefs and practices related to sacred, centering around which people constitute a moral community called as church. Okay. Remember, nowhere Durkheim says that religion is, you know, unnatural force, otherworldly belief. He is not saying anything like that. He is not saying it is belief in spirits, belief in Pharaoh or some mythical figure. He is not talking about these things. He simply treated religion as a thing. And when he treated religion as a thing, he followed rule number 1 of the rules of sociological method book that he himself had written. Okay. He followed that rule. Okay. And he did not say religion is nonsense, idiotic. He considered religion as a normal social fact because it is present everywhere. Rule number 2. Rule number 2 of the rules of sociological method. Okay. To him, religion is normal because it is present everywhere. It is not idiotic, unnatural, primitive. It is normal. In both the rules, no values are coming in. No values are coming in. Okay. Now, I'm going to show you something and then I will proceed further. Okay. And you will have to see those things as someone who belongs to Mars and someone who has seen Durkheim seeing those people calling something which amounts to be called as a religion. Now you know only this much. You know nothing else. Also, you would have to tell me if it is audible to you or not. Okay. Achha, was it audible to you? Not much audible, but thoda bahut to tha, hai na? That is enough. So you have now one image in your head. Okay, now keep this image in your head because now what I'm going to show you is something quite different. Okay. You are from Mars. You saw that now? Right? Now, just listen to this. There's something I do not have video of, but you have to simply listen to this. Okay. Now, listen to this. By the way, that was national anthem of Britain. Okay. But what is important is something that I have still not shown to you. Okay. That was football match. But you do not know. You are from Mars. Remember this. Okay. Now, one more thing. Now, this was a German music band, Ramstein. Okay. The song was Du hast. Now, why did I show you these things? Did you find? And forget everything. You are not from Earth. Remember this. Did you find or not set of beliefs and practices related to sacred something which I'm going to tell you now, centering around which people had gathered and constituted a community, moral community? Did you find something like this, although you do not know the exact meaning of this? Okay, now the question is, what is sacred? What is sacred? Sacred is anything, okay, anything not related to God. Remember this, we are not from earth. Anything that is forbidden and set apart from mundane life. Anything that is forbidden. I'll tell you the meaning of forbidden also. Anything that is forbidden and set apart from mundane life. What is the meaning of this statement? What is the meaning of forbidden first? Forbidden. Remember when you saw those Liverpool people chanting for their team? Okay, they would not want anyone to disrupt them at that moment. That moment is highly charged moment. You cannot feel the energy when you go, when you are a participant of those people, amongst those, you would feel that charge. Okay, something that we in common parlance call as goosebumps. But you feel that charge from that collectivity. Okay, you feel that charge when you take a tour to or when you visit your favorite music artist's concert. Okay, for example, like the last time when I went to that music concert, it was of Lucky Ali, and Lucky Ali has been my childhood favorite artist, someone who I always listen to before sleeping and after waking up. Okay, so I could feel, and when you are part of that crowd, you may even cry for no reason. You may look very stupid to someone outsider, but those to the people who are there, to them you are not stupid. Somehow you are also a member of that charged atmosphere, and you do not know what is happening to you. You do not know why you are crying. That collective gathering has this much of power that will somehow take you away from the mundane life. It will somehow take you, and you will feel that you do not belong to this place. Okay, this is the kind of power that collectivity has. Okay, imagine watching or listening to Lucky Ali live concert all alone. You would not feel that. You will never cry. You will only listen to them, or you will record, or you will take selfie. But when you are in a crowd, somehow the charge takes over you. The power of that charge takes over you. Okay, now forbidden in the sense, forbidden in the sense, someone which is very dear to you, you would not let anyone touch it. For example, if your father gifts you car, you will never let your friend drive it. अरे नहीं, मेरे पापा की हाथ नहीं लगाना इसको, हटा. Okay, so think of those tribal people. To you, they may be stupid. Okay, if you are from earth. Okay, but to them, that deer, that crocodile, that leopard is very sacred. There you talk about any, there you talk about crocodile, anything. Okay, it is very sacred to them, and it is their belief. What belief? I'll tell you. Okay, what belief has actually made them assemble around that crocodile? There you talk about football when you are watching the football people, Liverpool. There you talk of anything about Ramstein. When you are in the music concert, you say anything bad about Ramstein, then you will feel millions of people charging on you. They will kill you, stomp over you, without even realizing that they have murdered someone. Okay, this is the power of collectivity. Okay, so anything that is forbidden and set apart from the mundane, mundane means ordinary. When you are a member of that collectivity, you have you are not in an ordinary atmosphere. It is a charged atmosphere that you are a part of. Okay, now let me repeat the definition again. Religion is set of beliefs. Which belief? Supernatural belief? No, no, no. Only set of beliefs. I'm from Mars. Set of beliefs and practices related to sacred. Somehow I felt that These people call something as sacred around which they gather and feel that collective sentiment. So basically, religion is a set of belief and practices related to sacred, something which they hold as sacred, centering around which they constitute a community called as church, a moral community. Okay, so this is what religion is. Now, music is religion? Yes, it can be. Because I could feel the same thing. In the sense, I could feel the same charge, same emotion. Gathering was there, and they had, just like a crocodile, those people had. We were laughing over. These people had some idiotic long hair and very cool and very unique kind of clothes that they had put on, and these people were idolizing them. Okay, so these people were not looking very normal. They had put on a very different kind of makeup. Okay, and these people were idolizing them. So, to me, someone who is from Mars, I do not see any difference between these two acts. Okay, when I see people on 15th August, national anthem is celebrated or national anthem is sung. Okay, on the eve of Independence Day. When I see those people putting on that same Tiranga t-shirt, centering around a large pole on which some cloth is wavering. Okay, so I somehow start feeling this, is this not the same thing that I had observed in Melanesia when I had descended from Mars? Collective gathering is there. They also have centered around something which they consider as sacred to them. Okay, dare anyone touch national flag at that point of time? Okay, so the sentiments are very much same. Collective gathering has this much of power, which is not found in any one individual. And therefore, Durkheim said, social facts should never be reduced to the level of individual. Social facts are sui generis, in the sense they are unique. They are coming out from you. Okay, but they are somehow found at the emergent level. They emerge from you. And when they emerge, social fact being religion, emerge from you, being emergent factor, it will be external to you and it will have coercive power on you. Okay, you may even cry, you may even be very jovial, but you would not be in your senses. Okay, you would be completely in a transcendental phase. This is what religion is. Understood? Okay. Okay. Now, did I say religion is about God? Anywhere? Spirits? कुछ भी नहीं. Okay. Now, now, let us try to understand. If you remember, the cause of social fact is another social fact. If you remember that thing. So, if I treat religion as a social fact, religion as a social fact, if I treat this like that, what is the cause of this social fact? The cause of this social fact is another social fact. And what is the name of that social fact which has gone into the making of what people call as religion? What is that one social fact that has gone into the making of this social fact? That social fact is collective consciousness, nahi, collective effervescence. Collective effervescence, not collective consciousness. Prakash Raghavan. Okay, collective effervescence. You may not have heard of this word. Okay, that is okay. Now you will get to know it. Okay. What is collective effervescence? And also, do one thing, um, go back to that page where you had written rules of sociological method. I would like to uh, make you write down one more rule. Okay, on that same on the same rule where you had written the cause of social fact is another social fact. In after that line only, I am going to add something. Okay, just write down one line there in that rule only. The cause of social fact is another social fact. What you have to write? You have to write this line: non-material social facts, non-material social fact leads to material social fact. Just write down this. I'll explain all these things. By the end of the lecture, you will understand everything. Non-material social fact leads to material social fact. Okay. Cause. Cause of a social fact is another social fact. So that is why this social fact is nothing but effect. The cause of this effect is another social fact, that is non-material social fact. Okay. Now, what I'm doing here, I am following the same rule. Religion is a material social fact. Okay. I'll tell you the meaning of these words also. Material social fact. What is the cause of this material social fact? A non-material social fact, that is collective effervescence. Okay. This is the cause. Now tell me, if collective effervescence, something that you do not know, let me also tell you the meaning of this effervescence. Effervescence is that excited stage, excited stage when which you enter into when you are in the atmosphere of collectivity, when you all assemble together for national anthem, or for some seconds you enter into a transcendental phase for a few seconds, maybe for even microsecond. That microsecond stage that you had entered into was a very excited in the sense, not something to be very happy about, excited something which may make you hysteric, emotional. Okay, that is effervescence. When you listen to people chanting Sachin, okay, in the cricket ground, okay, just imagine millions of people chanting Sachin, Sachin, essay. Okay, you would feel that effervescence, that excited stage, okay, that all the people have gone to. They are not one individual anymore. They have become part of something that is bigger than each one of them. They are part of something that is bigger than each one of them and more than what all of them would sum up to be called as together. Okay. And therefore, as I knew, as you know, social fact is something that I told you is nothing but collective thinking, belief, acting, external to and coercive of the actor. Okay, so basically, collective effervescence is that excited stage that you have entered into. Okay. And if I say that collective effervescence is responsible for religion, does it not clearly show us that religion is a social experience? Religion is a social experience because for religion to come into existence, collective gathering, collective belief, collective practices around something which they consider as sacred should be there. Unless there is sacred, something that people believe and bestow their belief on, they would there would not be any sense of religion. Okay, sacred should be there and people should have collective sentiments on that sacred. Okay, now यहां तक आपको समझ आ गया? पहले आप मुझे इतना बताओ, तभी आगे आई विल बी एबल टू एक्सप्लेन. Yes. Okay. Now I'll ask you one question. Now I'll ask you one question. When you see India's national flag, you are standing here. These are millions of people who have gathered around this national flag. Okay, all these are people only. They have their mobile phone camera also on. Okay, let us assume that it is happening in the night. Let us assume anything like that. Okay, torch you can see all over, light, mobile phone cameras. And in the center is some pole on which some cloth is waving like this. Okay, this cloth has two colors, what people call as orange and green, and in the center of cloth is something which people call as blue color. Okay, and I have noted these things down. And when I see people gathering in mass around this something which they consider very dear to them, okay, and because without this pole, this assembly would not happen. And this assembly is around the pole itself. The pole is not just a pole anymore, it is something more than that. Something special it is. It is not just a pole to them anymore, it is something special to them. Now, when it is something special, in the language of Durkheim, it is sacred. And when people sing national anthem and they believe that this flag represents them, basically they are worshipping themselves because they and their beliefs are represented by a pole and a song and the collectivity. And when they stand together, sing the national anthem, and when they believe that this flag represents everything what they are, basically they are worshipping themselves because they are worshipping their beliefs. Right? Right or not? Right? When you see tribal people, now let me take you back. Okay? Let me take you back. This leopard around which these people had gathered, all these people had one belief, collective belief. The collective belief was, do you know what is the collective belief of these people? They believe that all of them have descended from leopard. All of them have descended from leopard. And that is why they have put on leopard skin cloth. This is the reason. And it is their belief. It is their belief, and I have recorded this, that they believe that they have descended from leopard. They belong to the next generation of leopard, and that is why they have put on leopard skin. Okay, to please their leopard. Okay, to please their leopard from which they have descended, they have put on leopard skin. Now, when they would assemble around this leopard, okay, when they would chant something that is not decipherable to me, basically they are trying to worship their beliefs only. They are, when they have assembled together around something which they consider as sacred, because this leopard is not just a leopard, it is something more than that. Their sentiments have been attached to this leopard. They believe that they are the people who belong to this. Okay, so that is why it is not a normal leopard, it is very special to them, sacred. This leopard is sacred to them. Okay, to you, the flag of Pakistan may be profane, in the sense not sacred, but Indian flag is not just a flag, it is something more than that. It represents you, it represents the Indian in you. You feel charged when you see it. Okay, so flag is not just a flag. Some are highly charged, highly sacred, but they are charged only because you believe that you have some relation with that. And therefore, therefore, Durkheim believes that religion is nothing. Religion is nothing but society apotheosized. Basically, the divinity of society is religion. I'll explain you the meaning of this line also. When you worship society, this is what religion is. When you are worshipping your beliefs, when you are worshipping your beliefs only, that means you are worshipping yourself. And when you are worshipping yourself, you basically are trying to tell us in that case that society is more important than individual. Collective beliefs are more important than individual. Understood? Now, simply try to understand this, then this topic is over. Okay. Collective effervescence. A social fact, right? How did this social fact come into existence? Because of collective gathering. Okay. Collective gathering led to collective effervescence. In the sense, a state, let me write it down here. Excited state. Excited state or charged state. You are not yourself when you are part of that crowd in that point of time. Okay, you have gone to some other level you do not know. Okay, you have started feeling something that you had never felt before in your life. Okay, is that God, spirit? I don't know, but it is something more than me. It is not just me, it is something more than me that I have become a part of. Okay, excited state, charged state, this collective effervescence constitute what Durkheim calls as religion. Okay. Collective gathering, you know this very well. It was all about when they gathered collectively, what they did. Some collective practices. Okay, they might have danced around that idol of Shiva. Okay, which is just a stone. It is just a stone, but you believe it is Shiva. Okay, and therefore it is not just a stone. It is something more to you, not just a stone to you. Okay, it is something more than that. Why it is something more than that? Because you, all of you, believe that it is something more than that. Does it have any internal property, inherent property as such? Is that stone telling you worship me because I am magical? No. It is your belief that this stone possesses something extraordinary which no other stone in the forest possess. Okay. And when you, all of you, assemble together around that stone and start dancing around that stone, singing different kind of music around that stone, you are worshipping yourself only. And therefore religion is nothing but society's own worship. क्या बात कही डर खाई. Society apotheosized. This is what religion is. Is it about God, supernatural? I do not know. Durkheim does not know, nor we are interested in these things. We are interested in only what we are seeing. Sometimes that Shiva, the idol of Shiva, sometimes is replaced by a national flag, but sentiments are similar. Sometimes that national flag is replaced by Rammstein and the group German band. The sentiments are similar. Sometimes Rammstein replaced by Lucky Ali. Sentiments are similar. Lucky Ali replaced by Makkah. Makkah. Sentiments are similar. Makkah replaced by cricket ground, around which all the people have gathered, waving, search in, search in. Sentiments are similar. Cricket ground replaced by football ground. Again, I am seeing the similar picture. Football ground replaced by Britain Stadium, national anthem. I can see the similar picture. Everything replaced by that tribal people gathering around one. I do not find any difference. I am someone who has descended from Mars. Nobody is able to explain me how they are different. I could sense collective sentiments emanating from the crowd. Everywhere I could see people crying, whether in the concert of Lucky Ali Rammstein or in the gathering of people around what they consider as highly sacred to them, that is Lord Shiva. I could feel the similar sentiments. I could find no difference. And therefore, religion is nothing but society's own worship, society's own beliefs, worship. Okay. And it consists of nothing but collective gathering, collective practices, which which elevate these people to collective effervescent stage, which is highly excited, charged state, something that amounts to be called as what Durkheim calls as religion. And therefore, the cause of social fact is another social fact. The cause of social fact is another social fact. You would not find the similar sentiment of the collectivity in one individual in isolation. If you keep that one individual outside of that collective crowd, you would not be feeling that thing in him. You need the assembly to feel that. You would not be able to feel that in isolation. Therefore, social fact should not be reduced to the level of individuals. Understood? So, this was about Durkheim. Now, the most important question. What is the function of religion? What did I just study? I just studied. I first treated social fact as thing. I treated religion as thing. Then I got to know what religion is. And then I talked about the cause of social fact, rule number 3 or 4, but that, whatever that may be. And now I'm looking into the function of social fact, rule number 4. Function of social fact. Am I not following all the rules of sociological method that I had written? Right? Yes, I'm following all those. Yes, Tushar, I'll explain what is material and non-material social fact also. Just a second. Okay. Let us try to understand what exactly this assembly, so-called collective gathering, belief, practices related to what people considered as sacred actually did. What happened? What is the function of this religion? Okay, what is the function of that assembly around Lucky Ali's concert or Einstein's concert or the national anthem? What was the function of that? What exactly was it doing to the larger system? Or why people do it? I mean, what they do, what do they get it when they do it? Function. You will realize that all these people, they feel one and the same in that time. A fan of Lucky Ali and this fan of Lucky Ali, both are same when they enter into the concert. Okay, there is no difference between them. All of them have transcended themselves to another level. They have transcended from profane world, that is mundane world, to the extraordinary sacred world. To them, Lucky Ali is God. They could see him live, alive for the first time. Okay. And therefore, the function of religion is nothing but to integrate people. It binds people. It creates charge which emanates from them, something that is more than them, external to them, and coercive, and it binds them together. They would chant together, they would hold their hands together. It creates a bond of solidarity amongst them. And it is only because of this bond of solidarity that collective effervescence, the excited stage, is emanating from them. Okay. Some people are not able to explain it. They call it godly, spiritual. But it was nothing but the product of collectivity. It could not be found in one individual. You need collective assembly for that. And therefore, the function of religion is nothing but integration. Integration or social solidarity. Can someone tell me what is the function of division of labor? Function of division of labor in modern societies. What is the function of division of labor in modern societies? Okay. Just think it like this. Just think it like this. I am teaching you sociology. Okay. You are studying sociology. Both of us are dependent upon each other. Okay. I am dependent on you for results. You are dependent on me for the same thing, results. Okay. And both of us are doing similar, different things. In the sense, you are studying, I am teaching. But only because of this, we have become integrated. And we have become interdependent. And only because of this, a bond of solidarity will be established between us. Okay. Only because of this. There is no other reason. And therefore, religion does exactly what division of labor does. I do not find any difference between religion and division of labor that way. Both of them are integrating. I'm not saying division of labor is religion. No, I'm not going to that level. But I'm just telling you that what division of labor was doing, same religion is doing to all of us. Okay. And if you remember, Durkheim was very worried. What is that one force? Today we have become so much individualist. What is that one force which will integrate all of us again? Division of labor, he could find one force. Second force he could find was state, moral education, state being embodiment of morality. Okay, state will try to integrate all the people. Okay, it will try to tell everyone, you are not weak, we are there for you, we will give you narega, we will give you marega or karega or food or work. Okay, everything we will give you, and people will feel highly thankful to state, Mr. Modi, and this will create integration between Modi and the people. Okay, so state is their moral education. These are the forces that are going to integrate all of us again, despite individualism or fundamental rights that we talk about. But remember, philosophers say that God was questioned in the era of enlightenment. And Durkheim is saying old gods are dead, new gods are born. When old gods are dead, new gods are born. And when he was writing his book, Elementary Forms of Religious Life, he said, old gods are dead, new ones are not yet born, but they will soon be born. And when Durkheim sees all of us in the music concert, in the cricket ground, on 15th August, or on any occasion like football, somehow he says, here we have the new gods, here we have the new religion. These things are doing similar thing that was doing to those people who believed God exists. To them, the religion was about it. To us, this is what nothing but religion only. Are you trying to get my point, what I'm trying to say? Okay. So God is not dead, because God never existed. It was only collective effervescent. It was nothing. It was only collective effervescent, and collective effervescent can never die. The excited stage that all of us find ourselves in, the transcendental stage from the mundane to the extraordinary, is something that you do not find everywhere, and it is still there. Okay, in forms might have gotten changed. Okay, it is not, I'm not saying that temples do not exist, they still exist, but other than temple, there are many other things which are doing those things. It is integrating all of us. The same collective effervescence is something that we feel everywhere around us. Okay, in those events. So the function of religion is integration and social solidarity. Second, religion. Religion coerces. Coerces. Okay, and instead of writing coerces, you can write religion being a coercive force. Being a coercive force. Okay, infuses morality amongst individuals. Infuses morality amongst individuals. Okay, in the sense, when you are in the collective gathering, in the assembly, okay, what that is what religion is. Okay, remember, when you are in that assembly, you feel that charged state, and somehow it makes you very different from what you were when you were at home. Okay, it somehow creates a moral being in all of you. Okay, you are not abusing anyone at that point of time. You are highly in a moral state, all of you. Okay, okay. Third, it differentiates sacred from profane. It differentiates sacred from profane. In fact, this is not just a function, it is also how religion come into existence. In fact, Do one thing. Don't write this line. I'll tell you now one more thing. Okay, don't write this line. I'll tell you now the basic question: how religion comes into existence. Okay, this is a basic question that I'm going to answer. Now see how it comes into existence. Okay, something that I'd already drawn, but now I'm drawing one more thing to it. Okay, collective gathering, collective collective gathering around what? Something considered as sacred. And when people gather around this thing which they call as sacred, it creates collective effervescence. People elevate into different stage. And when they elevate into different stage, we call it religion. Now the basic question is, does religion not require the conception of sacred to come into existence? If you do not have anything sacred, you cannot have religion. And religion is nothing but the product of how people divide the world into sacred and profane. Some things are considered sacred, some things are considered profane. Profane means not sacred, mundane. Like, for example, this pen that I have in my hand. This is profane to me, very ordinary pen. But the same pen will now become sacred if someone would tell me that this was actually given to me by my by my father as a birthday gift. Okay, until I knew it, I somehow felt it is very ordinary pen, but now it would become very special to me. The same pen. Okay, so basically, for the religion to come into existence, conception of sacred must be there. Okay, in collective assembly, all these things must be there. Okay, so write down one line. Religion is the product of our world's distinction between sacred and profane. World's distinction between sacred and profane. Religion is the product of our world's distinction between sacred and profane. And religions are formed around sacred. And religions are formed around sacred. And religions are formed around sacred. Okay. So, this was all about the topic of religion. Topic is over. Now I'm going to tell you some facts. Okay, initially I wanted you guys to understand, okay, what religion is. It is not what God and all those things. So, okay, now I'm going to tell you some important facts also. One fact called as totemism. What is totemism? And what do we understand by elementary forms? Elementary form, the meaning of elementary form is, like, for example, we had elementary education till class 5. That means basic. Elementary means basic level. Elementary form of religion means basic level of religion. Now, what is the meaning of basic level of religion? Basically, Durkheim believed that religion is a normal social fact. It is present everywhere. But, but in the most primitive societies, in the most primitive societies, the very basic form of religion is present. Okay, just imagine that you have passed from class 5 to now you are working as a professional, you have matured. Okay, societies have also matured from tribal stage to the modern. Where would you find the basic form of religion? Only in the tribal stage. Okay, and that is why he calls it elementary. And he is studying that basic form. You know why? Because whenever you want to have a strong command on something, you should always work on your basics. Okay, and that is why he has gone back to the tribal conception of religion to understand what religion is. Okay, and then he would see how it has evolved. Okay, so basically what he believed and what he saw was nothing. He himself had never gone to those people who he was watching from behind the trees. That was a made up story by me. The real fact is all of thing was done at home, at Durkheim's home only. Durkheim was sitting on his table, okay, and he had one ethnography. Ethnography, I'll tell you the meaning, right? Let me write some points here. Just keep writing. Durkheim conducted a study on elementary form of religion. Okay, and what was that elementary form? The elementary form was totemism. This is the name of the elementary, the basic form of religion present among who? Present among Arunta tribals. Arunta tribe, or you may also call it clan. Arunta clan. Totemism means, well, totemism was nothing but religion. Where did he find this religion? Amongst the Arunta clan. And where is the Arunta clan? Arunta clan is the same clan that he found in the Melanesian island. Okay, Melanesian island. And he also found one more thing. And what was that one thing? He found that this Arunta clan was having different segments. One was leopard. Okay, Arunta tribe consisted of leopard clan. It also consisted of crocodile clan, rabbit clan. Okay, and all these people were worshipping their totems. They were their totems. Totem. Why it is their totem? And what is the meaning of totem? Write down one line. Totem is any object, plant, or animal species. Totem is any object, plant, or animal species. Okay. Next line. The totem does not have any inherent property as such. The totem does not have any inherent property as such. to be considered as sacred. The totem does not have any inherent property as such to be considered as sacred. The totem does not have any inherent property as such to be called as sacred. Okay, full stop. Rather, it is the collective belief. Rather, it is the collective belief of the collective gathering. It is the collective belief of the collective gathering around that totem that makes it sacred. That makes it sacred. Collective belief of the collective gathering around that totem that makes it sacred. Otherwise, it is not sacred. Okay. Right? Durkheim found, next line, Durkheim found Durkheim found readings or writings, you may write it like this. Durkheim found writings on totemism conducted by ethnographers Spencer and Gillens. Spencer and Gillens. These two people were ethnographers. In the sense, ethnographer are those people who go to tribal pocket, record everything. They themselves go to the tribal island or any primitive location, record everything, and then they come back to their homes. Okay, Durkheim had never himself gone to these Arunta tribal people. He had only read whatever these people had observed. Okay, just by reading, he could come up with a theory. Then why did they kill the leopard? Yes, very nice question. See, just to give you one example, then you will understand why they kill it. Has anyone ever been to Kamakhya temple? Kamakhya temple in Guwahati. You know, in Kamakhya temple, or there are many such temples. Basically, that temple actually came in my head because I have been to that temple. So that is why I thought this could be the best example. In Kamakhya temple, you know, animal sacrifice is very important ritual. They sacrifice, and this is, and why do they sacrificing that animal does not mean that animal is useless. In fact, why only that animal is sacrificed? Because that animal is special. No other animal possesses that special quality which is possessed by that animal. Okay, and it is not that every day they are killing it. Okay, for one full month they revere it. Okay, revere it. They seek the blessing of that animal every day. Okay, and one fine day they collectively sacrifice, because this is what the collective gathering believes. It is their belief that when we sacrifice it, okay, we are completing the process. It is their belief. It is not that when they sacrifice it, they meet the God. No. They complete the process by sacrificing it. Okay, that is the final step. So, that's how it goes. Now, write down one more line. Durkheim observed, each clan was represented by a totem. Each clan was represented by a totem. Leopard clan was represented by leopard totem. For example, leopard clan was represented by leopard totem. Leopard totem means not necessarily a living totem, a living leopard. It could be simply a manifestation or symbolic representation of the leopard. Leopard made of grass. Okay, leopard made of stone. May not be a real leopard. Okay. Every clan is represented by a totem. Okay. And each totem, very important line, underline, highlight, italics. Each totem is a representation of collective beliefs, comma, identity, collective beliefs, comma, identity, comma, origin, comma, values of the clan. Okay. And therefore, the worship of totem, very, very important line. The worship of totem is nothing but society's own worship, the worship of society. Because when you are worshipping the totem, you are worshipping your belief only. And when you are worshipping your beliefs, you are worshipping yourself. When you are worshipping yourself, this is what society is all about. Okay. Because all of you constitute society, tribal society, modern society, whatever that may be. All of us have some collective sentiments attached to something that we consider as sacred. Like, for example, today, audio stuck? Audio stuck? No? ठीक है, fine है, ठीक है. All of us today consider Constitution as a sacred document. Nobody can tamper with Constitution. You may have your individual belief or opinion, but your belief or opinion is not over and above the sacred that we consider as the Constitution. Okay. All of us may be having their individual beliefs. Someone being a Muslim, someone being a Jew, someone being a Buddhist, someone being a Hindu, someone being a Dalit, someone being a woman. All of us may be asserting our identities today in the era of feminism or Dalit movements or Dalit assertion, okay, or sexual revolutions like LGBT plus Q movement. All these things may be there, individualism may be there, all of us may be asserting our rights, but at the end of the day, all of us are bound together by one, something that we consider as sacred, that is Constitution of India. Okay, it is that one force, moral force, that integrates all of us together at the end of the day. Okay, got it? Next line. This is considered as the totemic principle. Underline, highlight, bold, italics. This is considered as the totemic principle. अभी बताता हूं सब. This is considered as the totemic principle. Okay. Now let me come back to your questions. You have to identify totem in each of the video. What is totem? Totem is representation of the collective belief of the people. Remember, okay? Totem is a representation of the collective belief of the people. National flag is representation of all the struggles that India had gone through to attain its independent nationhood. National flag is the symbol of that. Remember this one thing. National flag is not that orange and green color band. It is a symbol of more than that struggle that the nationalist movement have achieved, and the nationalist movement actually went into the making of making that nation, and therefore that national flag is a simply symbolic representation of that struggle that uh, India has had to go through. Okay. Now, see the totem here. What is the totem around which they have gathered? This is how magical religion is also. Basically, what they had gathered around something like this totem. Are you not getting the same feeling? Steam. What is the totem here in the football stadium? अभी देख लेते हैं भाई. Centering around the totem, the football stadium. Football stadium is representation of their beliefs. Totem. Got my point? Listen to these things, you will feel that it is not about God, it is about something that is more than one individual. Just that, nothing else. Collective effervescence, a stage of excitement. Okay. This is what some people call as God. I don't know whether he exists or not. Now, this was elementary forms of religious life. Okay, this topic is over. Now, if you get a question, do we have totem in modern societies? Will you say no? You will say yes. You will say yes, we have. We also have totems. Now, but let me ask you one basic question here. In the simple society of Arunta, simple means tribal basically. In the tribal society of Arunta, that is Melanesian people, society was divided into clans, right? Leopard clan, cheetah clan, crocodile clan, rabbit clan. Okay, let us look at our modern society. What are we divided into? Hindus, Muslims, Christians. Okay, Buddhists. All these people also have their totems. What is the totem of Christians? Okay, if I were to reduce religion only to that so-called stereotypical religion that we call as, okay, the totem of Christianity, that cross, that cross is nothing but totem. It represents the collective belief of the Christians. This is the cross where Jesus was, okay, nailed, something like this. Cross. What is the totem of Buddhists? Sangha. Is Sangha not totem of Buddhist? वही तो बैठते हैं वो, उसी के अराउंड. Muslims, what is the totem? Makkah. Okay. What is the totem of Israeli people? Can someone tell me? Totem of Israel. जेरूसलम. बिल्कुल सही बात. सब टोटम की ही तो फाइट है. प्रॉब्लम क्या है? हिंदूज का टोटम. व्हाट इज द टोटम ऑफ हिंदूज? ओके. हाँ, राम मंदिर. राम मंदिर, ठीक है, चलो. नाउ आई वांट टू आस्क यू बेसिक क्वेश्चन. डू यू रिमेंबर I told you what is the function of religion? It integrates. I told you. Was it not happening? In all these cases, all these people were integrated. In the Rammstein music concert, football stadium, all were integrated. But the fact is, religion also divides us. Okay. Religion also divides us. It creates conflict also. It is not only integrating us, it creates disintegration, it creates conflict also. Why it creates conflict? When you start imposing your totem, leopard, on someone who belongs to cheetah, what will happen? When you try to impose your totem cheetah on someone who has belief in crocodile, what will happen? It will result into conflict only. If you have leopard, they have cheetah. Let them worship their cheetah. If you try to impose your cow on someone, it will create conflict. Okay. If I try to impose my favorite singer on someone else, it will also create conflict between both of us. If I say him, तेरा ये सिंगर बकवास है अरिजीत सिंह, इसमें कुछ रखा नहीं, सारे गाने एक जैसे हैं, उसके हस्की वॉइस करता है, जान मुझके कॉपी लकी अली का कर रखा है उसने, ऐसे से बोलना शुरू कर दूं मैं. If I start saying like this, that in all the songs you will see the similar kind of husky tone and sad music and environment, all those things. So इस तरह, he may get offended. Israel-Palestine conflict is nothing. Israel-Palestine conflict is nothing but fight over sacred. It is nothing but fight over sacred. Okay. But when you are क्या कहते हैं, writing on Durkheim, you would not be writing division or conflict. You would only be talking about integration. However, you would be talking about conflict in the criticism, when you would have to criticize Durkheim also, which is something that I will teach you also when I'm done with all the topics, because one more topic is left now, that is suicide. Okay. So once I'm done with suicide also, then we'll critique Durkheim one by one. But Acha, just a second. Let us first take some 5 minutes break. Okay, in case you have any question, you may write those questions. I'll try to address. Just take 5 minutes break. Okay. I'm also exhausted. Audible to all of you? Okay. Just write down one more line and then we'll take your doubts. With the enlightenment, with the enlightenment, okay, after that only totemic principle. Next line should be with the enlightenment, French Revolution and Industrial Revolution, it was believed, it was believed that religious thinking and religious beliefs are dead. It was believed religious thinking, religious beliefs are dead. And it is only individualism that is going to prevail. And it is only individualism that is going to prevail. Prevail in the sense वही रहेगा हर जगह. ये माना जा रहा था कि इंडिविजुअलिज्म ही रहेगा, ये कलेक्टिव बिलीफ सब खत्म होगी क्योंकि रिलीजन इज द दैट वन थिंग व्हिच हैड held us all together in the pre French Revolution or Enlightenment period. Okay, that was the only cement. So cement is broken, individualism is there only. However, Durkheim said, comma, inverted colons, inverted comma and then colon, old gods are dead. Old gods are dead and new ones are not yet born. New ones are not yet born. Yet means in the sense when Durkheim was writing, it was phase of anomie, individualism. New ones had not yet born at that point of time. Okay. New ones are not yet born. Close inverted comma. Which simply meant or which simply implied that modern societies will have modern totems. Which simply implied that modern societies will have their own modern totems, which will work to integrate all of them together once again. Now, what are the examples of modern totem? Write down. Examples of modern totems are nation. What religion was doing, that nation is doing to all of us. At one point of time, religion had bound us all together. Today, nationhood or nationalism binds us. Howsoever individualist we may be, but we are Indians at the end of the day, and this is something that binds us. Okay, nation is the modern totem, comma, constitution, which is the symbol of that nation. Constitution. Comma, national flag, national anthem, national animal, जो बचपन में तुमने सारे चार्ट्स बनाए थे वो सब टोटम्स है. नेशनल एनिमल. दे हैड क्लैन एनिमल, वी हैव नेशनल एनिमल. डिफरेंस क्या है? कुछ भी नहीं. ओके. नेशनल फ्लावर, नेशनल एम्बलम. And any other social phenomena that integrates the complex societies. Like cricket match. Okay. Cricket match. You guys watch cricket match just like those people in the Arunta tribes. They used to gather around that animal. You guys gather around TV in a similar fashion. And you look at TV in the last over just like those people who would look at their animal in the last phase when they are in the collective effervescent stage. Fully excited, अब क्या होएगा, लास्ट बॉल है, 6 रन चाहिए, ठीक है, रोने वाले हो उस टाइम, effervescent stage में excited fully. Okay. Cricket match, football match, music concerts, etc. और भी बहुत सारे, बाकी आप तुम सोचते रहो, ठीक है. तो ये है बेसिकली डरखाइन हमारा, ठीक है. Now I'll take up your questions, and even before taking up questions, go to that page, social facts. I'll tell you about material and non-material social fact. In that page, I had talked about one rule. The rule was about explaining cause and function of social fact. Okay. In that rule, I had told you that social fact can be explained only by another social fact. In the sense, social fact should not be reduced to the level of individuals. It can only be explained by another social fact. There you will write, material social fact can only be explained by non-material social fact. Okay. And make one box there, separate box, where you will write what is material and non-material. Okay. Don't close that box because you do not know how much to write. Okay. Just open that box. Material social fact are structural and morphological. Material social facts are structural and morphological. For example, law. Law. Law is a social fact, a material social fact. Okay. Nation. Now, remember, material does not mean that it is visible. The main challenge, as I told you, to Durkheim was to observe something that is non-observable and to study or to treat those things as if they are visible. Okay. Law, nation, comma, religion, comma, caste, comma, gender, comma, language. These are material social facts. Okay. Now the question is, what is non-material social fact? Write down. Non-material social facts are institutionalized form of social fact. Institutionalized form of social fact. Now what is the meaning and what are the examples? Write down first examples, then I'll tell you the meaning. For example, collective consciousness. This is non-material social fact. Okay. Comma. Collective effervescence. Both are different. Remember this thing, both are different. Okay. Collective consciousness means all of you agree to certain things. You share similar belief. Collective effervescence is one step ahead, excited stage. Okay. Comma. Social currents. Comma. Social currents. Like integration and regulation. Something that I'll explain you when I'll teach you suicide. Okay. Social currents like integration and regulation. In bracket, in bracket, to be read in suicide. To be read in suicide. ये suicide में पढ़ेंगे ये सब. To be read in suicide. Comma. Values and norms. Okay. So basically, when we have collective consciousness, only then few things come into existence. Like, for example, through nationalist movements, collective consciousness was there that all of us had agreed that we need to have a separate nation. Only then nation came into existence. And that is why collective consciousness led to the conception of nation. Okay, so nation is material social fact coming out of non-material social fact, that was collective consciousness. Okay. Collective effervescence leads to religion. It is not the only gathering. It is not only belief, but also the excited stage, elevated stage that transcends you from profane to sacred, which leads to the conception of religion. So therefore, religion as a social fact is the result of non-material social fact, that is collective effervescence. Okay, this is how these things are dealt. Now you may ask your question, any question. एक एक करके I'll see क्या क्या questions हैं आप लोगों के. And I'll also request all those people who might have written those questions to now write those questions if they feel now they still have the same question. Okay, because now I'll read the question as if I'm giving you opportunity to ask you for the first time. Okay, assuming that you might not have registered those things in your mind when I was teaching you, and now you must have by now. Okay, so this is how I'm going to address the questions. So I hope social currents leads to Nutan Chaurasia, social currents I'll teach you when I'll teach you suicide. अभी नहीं. Social currents, integration, regulation बताया था मैंने. Suicide में पढ़ाऊंगा. यही लिखा है, to be read in suicide. Pranshu, why is meditation or spirituality associated with religion when it is clearly done in isolation? ये तो बड़ा philosophical question है. See, to be very honest, the fact is, if you look at those people who are propagating spirituality in the name of religion, you will somehow find, you are from Mars, okay, you are from Mars, you will somehow find similar patterns. In the sense, the people propagating spirituality, okay, and the person propagating, rather specifically to be very precise, a person propagating spirituality, that person himself becomes a totem to all those people who have reposed faith in the collective beliefs that emanate from the spiritual program. Okay. And that is why when you would listen to anyone abusing Sadhguru and suppose that person is a very great follower of Sadhguru, वो बोलेगा अरे ऐसे कैसे बोल रहे हो तुम? How can you say these things about Sadhguru? कभी सुना है तुमने उनको? You know, the sentiments, the collective sentiments, the charge, the excited level of stage that you attain, okay, is very similar to what those people had attained in the Arunta, amongst the Arunta tribe in the Melanesian island around that figure that they collectively considered as totem. So spirituality, all these things are nothing but religion only. Howsoever hard they may try to say it is not religion. The problem is when they say it is not religion, they do not really know what is religion. This is the problem. And when you see someone saying you this is not religion, the problem is they do not know what is religion. And I do not really know what is going on in their mind when they say this is religion, this is not. Are they talking about God? Okay, is religion equal to God? I mean, see, like for example, let me tell you one more thing very simply. Okay, there is one great Nobel Prize physicist. Okay, I have due respect for that person, Richard Feynman. Okay, Richard Feynman once in his interview told someone, you know, science has evolved to such a level that people try to emulate and be scientific. But these are pseudosciences, and I'm talking about social science. Social science is pseudoscience. This is what he was saying in his interview. Okay. You know what the problem is? The problem is that Richard Feynman do not really have the ability to understand that when he is saying that this is not science and this is science, what he really means by science is something that nobody would be able to understand. The problem is why to give science a status that you start looking at every other discipline trying to claim that status. The problem is with not with him calling social science as pseudoscience. The problem is with him considering science as a religion, as if no other one can be like them. And when he says like this, I am not able to differentiate between a church or priestly class member who used to say that this is what you need to do if you want to attain heaven. Okay. When a Brahmin person says Dalits are not pure, howsoever hard they may try, they will always remain impure. This is nothing but reflection of the reproduction of the inequalities or the consciousness that somehow exclude one individual from another individual. And this is what Richard Feynman was doing when he's saying that this is not what science is. Science is like this. See, this is pseudoscience. The hierarchy or the inequality or the ideas of exclusion are very much visible in the speech pattern of these people when they elevate science or their discipline they belong to at the level of religion. They are not able to distinguish exactly what they are trying to say. Okay. The conception of science in their mind and what science is and what the status of science is today. And the very idea and to make them understand that we are not following science or we should not be seen as someone following science. You are the one who have elevated science to that level that now you start looking at everyone as if they are following science. The very idea of the very question, the statement that he uttered was not right. Okay. Now let me check what the question is. Pranshu, how wise meditation हो गया? Kanish Kumar. Religion की definition में moral community included. What does that mean? Moral community. The community which has gathered, which has this belief, which have this sentiment attached to that totem, the community which has elevated to a sacred level, the community which is in fully excited state, it automatically forms a moral community. In the sense, this community is very different from any collective gathering that you would see anywhere outside a rickshaw wala a street or a shop. You outside a shop also you see a community gathering. Bhaiya bread de do, bread de do. That is not religion. Just because you see a gathering, remember this. You need to have one conception, unified conception that integrate all of you around something that all of you consider as sacred. And not just that, you also have to attain that collective excited stage. Only then it amounts to be called as a moral community, which amounts to be called as church in toto, considered as a religion. Ramesh को हो गया. Pratibha, intellectual currents, enlightenment are also non-material social fact. No, no Pratibha. उसकी बात ही क्यों करनी है? इंटेलेक्चुअल करंट्स की जब हम बात करते हैं, लाइक फॉर एग्जांपल इंडस्ट्रियल रेवोल्यूशन, it is not a social fact per se. Industrial revolution is a revolution. It was a period of change. Revolution, when you say, it is a period of change. Family is a social fact. What happened to family before industrial revolution? We used to think in the Western dictionary. There is a conception of joint versus nuclear, in the sense, before industrialization we had joint, after industrialization we have nuclear, as if industrialization is one force which has broken the joint into nuclear. So this is very highly positivist thinking and study. Okay, highly bereft of the empirical or field observations. Okay, so this is not social fact. These are only social changes. There is a difference. Social change and social fact, do not confuse. Mayan Yadav, sir, what leads to non-material social fact? Collective effervescence lead to religion. Collective effervescence led by, अरे collective effervescence कहाँ से आया? Collective gathering से ही तो आया. See, how collective effervescence कैसे आया? Collective effervescence मैंने वो चार्ट बनाया था. Collective gathering around sacred led to collective effervescence. Individual कहाँ है ही नहीं individual. Tushar, sir, can we say religion is more divisive or more or more integrative in nature, or are there only or there are only perspectives? We are no one to say religion divides or integrates. Only Durkheim is someone to say. Only Karl Marx is someone to say. Only Simone de Beauvoir is someone to say. Only Talcott Parsons is someone to say. We are no one. Okay, we are no one. Individuals do not exist. Rajshri, sir, Emile believes that social disorder is natural and can be overcome naturally through social reforms. We don't have to intervene, but it is we have to do social reforms. Then how? Rajshri, ये क्वेश्चन लास्ट टाइम ही लिया था मैंने, सेम क्वेश्चन, एंड दिस क्वेश्चन वाज आस्क्ड टू मी बाय आदर्श गुप्ता. Okay, he asked this question to me, or maybe it was Kapil Bhola. Kapil Bhola asked this question to me. How come it is natural when we are intervening and causing social reforms? Arre, let me ask you one thing. When you see a pipeline in your house out of which water is not coming, okay, what do? You try to figure out and you try to clean the pipe so that the natural flow of water could continue. So, although you intervened, but your intervention was only aiding the larger natural process of the movement of water. So, your intervention does not matter. The last end, your intervention was just a means. The end is the natural flow of water from the pipeline. This is what Durkheim is doing. Okay. When doctor gives you medicines or pills, you would say it is intervention, maybe, but that intervention is to aid the natural equilibrium of the body, to restore the natural equilibrium of the body, and to make you feel the way you were feeling before you got ill. Shubham, perspective of people. Nutan, we don't have collective gathering around national. We don't have collective gathering around national anthem. अरे नेशनल एंथम कहां से होता है? कलेक्टिव गैदरिंग से ही तो होता है। नेशनल फ्लावर, अरे तुम जितना मर्जी कीचड़ फेंको हम पर, जैसा बोलते हैं, जितना कीचड़ फेंकोगे कमल उतना ही खिलता है। ये ऐसी लाइन बोली जाती है, कमल खिलता है जहां कीचड़ फेंको। ये जो कमल है, दिस लोटस इज अ सिंबल ऑफ अ पॉलिटिकल पार्टी, लेट अस अज्यूम, ओके। But this symbol, Kamal, has united all the individuals coming from different walks of life around that party, BJP. And when that party is in power, all of us have somehow unconsciously accepted that symbol as one that all of us would or shall now agree with to rule upon us. That way, I'm not saying that symbol is ruling over us, but that is only a representation of the larger ideology that all the individuals share with each other when they enter into that political party. From Pranshu. Got it. Thank you, sir. Kapil Gola. What is society apotheosized? Society apotheosized. Divinity. In the sense, divine. It attains divine character. Okay. When you worship crocodile as a member of crocodile clan, you are worshipping yourself. In the sense, society has apotheosized itself. In the sense, society is the divine force. Okay. Leopard simply represented, leopard as a symbol represented your collective beliefs. All of you had put on leopard clothes. Okay. And society apotheosized means when you're worshipping your belief that this is the leopard that we have, all of us have descended from. Leopard is the representation of the strength that our tribe has. Leopard is the representation of everything that we believe in. What are we doing by worshipping leopard? We are worshipping ourselves, and this is nothing but the totemic principle according to which society is nothing but society, religion is nothing but society apotheosized. Sir, being a positivist, what are the laws that Durkheim gave, like Comte gave? Law of Rajshri, the law given by Durkheim is one that you will read in Suicide. He has given one law. Let me all tell you one law given by Durkheim. Okay. Durkheim says, whenever society is going through period of economic boom and bust, in the sense whenever you have inflation or recession, whenever economies go through such phase, suicide rates increase. He is drawing a relation between suicides and the larger force which has led to the increase in suicide rate. And this is very much an equation that he has drawn basically. And this is a law. This is a law. Okay. And this law has been proven right. I'll tell you all the studies. If you see, Durkheim also gave one more law. Suicide rate remains constant. What is the meaning of this line? Suicide rate remains constant. Like for example, today is 2020, 21. Today is 2021. Let us assume in the year 2021, 100 Indians committed suicide. Okay, 100 Indians out of 1.3 billion. You will come out with certain numbers. 100 divided by 1.3 billion, you will come out with certain numbers. Durkheim will say, next year, numbers may change in the sense, maybe 106 people might have committed suicide. Population must also have changed, but and when you would divide the increased number of suicide with the increased amount of population, you would somehow come up with the same exact ditto number. And this has been proven right. This has been proven right. World Health Organization in its report last year clearly said that globally 8 million people commit suicide every year. Every year only 8 million number is coming out. Suicide rate remains constant. And it was nothing but justification to Durkheim's theory that WHO had given. Okay. Adarsh Gupta, morality, collective belief here in definition. आदर्श क्वेश्चन नहीं समझ आया मुझे तुम्हारा. मयंक सिंह, एज इंडियन सोसाइटी सेक्युलर इन नेचर वी आर नॉट इम्पोजिंग वन रिलीजियस टोटम. अरे तुम यार इमोशनल क्यों हो जाते हो, मुझे ये बताओ. इमोशनल क्यों हो जाते हो भाई? वी आर नॉट इम्पोजिंग, अरे वो तुम्हारी बात ही नहीं करी भाई. ट्रीट सोशल फैक्ट एज थिंग्स. जिस दिन इमोशनल हो गए सोशियोलॉजी में, खत्म. ओके ओके गॉड सर, थैंक यू. तुषार दोभाल, The 2020 UPSC as consequence of religious revivalism. ये नहीं अभी करना है. religious revivalism एक अलग यूनिट है. UPSC would always mix up units now. Gone are the days when you would confront direct questions. Don't think that UPSC will ask you what is religion according to Durkheim. इतना सिंपल क्वेश्चन अगर पूछने लग जाए तो फिर तो सब IAS बन जाएंगे भाई, कोई बात ही नहीं है इसके अंदर. Okay, so you would see questions which are, formed after clubbing different units, and this is something that should be done. Completely agree with the standards that UPSC has evolved now over the last 3 years. You will see when you compare UPSC last 3 years with previous years, you will automatically see that the last 3 years forms a new form of benchmark that was absent in the any other previous year question. So your range should start from 2017 onward. Okay, भूल जाओ 13-14 तो बच्चा है, बच्चे. 2013-14 वाले जो क्वेश्चन थे बच्चों वाले सवाल थे. मार्क्स बताओ, कार्ल मार्क्स बताओ, डिवीजन ऑफ लेबर, डिवीजन डरखाइम का बताओ थोड़ा डिवीजन. अरे ये कोई क्वेश्चन होते हैं? असली क्वेश्चन होते हैं जैसे ये पूछा 2020 में, क्योंकि ये आपका अप्लाइड नॉलेज चेक करते हैं, अप्लाई कितना कर सकते हो आप. ओके, so this you will come to know when we will deal with a unit on religion. There we have a concept of religious revivalism. Okay, abhi I can tell you, but I will have to explain religious revivalism, which is of not any concern, only because it has been asked, that is why you are asking. Okay, Keegan, sir, you mentioned collective belief is expression on individual. Can you explain this? Collective belief is an expression on the individuals. This line I'm not able to understand. Collective beliefs emanate from the collectivity. Collectivity consists of multiple individuals, but whole is greater than sum of its parts. So whatever the collectivity would come up with would be more than any of the individual that has gone into the making of that collectivity. And therefore, the collective effervescence is something that is not found in one individual. It is only the product of the collective gathering that has assembled to make it. Okay. Kapil Bhola, Rajshri, thank you, sir. Arun Raja, sir, can we consider Diya Jalao, Thali Bajao as collective effervescence in so religion? I'll discuss these things when we will criticize Durkheim. Okay, the last thing. I don't want to discuss everything right now. Okay, but I'll definitely take this up. Okay. Arun Raja, D. Prakash Raghavan. The totems are only objects, or can we consider individuals also as totems? Yes. Remember, write down one line. Write down one line. The last statement that I had asked you to write in religion itself. After that, write one more statement. Durkheim was also of the view, Durkheim was also of the opinion that modern societies may be characterized by the demagogues. demagogues. आ गया ये, बंद हो गया. Demagogues. 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 Or what he also called as the cult of the individuals. The cult of the individuals. Cult of the individual, in the sense, individualism may in itself become religion. Think about that. Individualism is one thing which is uniting all of you. Just think like this, like for example, let me give you one example. एक लड़का है, अपने माँ बाप की नहीं सुन रहा. Okay, their parents are telling him, शादी इसी लड़की से करोगे. वो बोल रहा है मैं जा रहा हूं घर छोड़ के. And because he's saying that no, I will marry someone who I like. Not you will not decide for my life. It is my life. Okay. Think of one girl who is also talking to her parents like this. You will not decide for my life. I will decide the boy I want to get married to. Now these two individualist people meet together. They form a relation. Okay. It was their individualism which integrated them. क्या बात है? It was their individualism. Live-in relationship is a modern totem for those people. Live-in relationship. समझ रहे हो? अप्लाइड पार्ट तुम देखो कहां जा सकता हूं मैं. अभी मैं पर जाऊंगा नहीं. बिकॉज हमने वो यूनिट्स पढ़ने हैं आगे जाके. अभी समझ नहीं आएगा, घबराहट हो जाएगी, एंग्जाइटी हो जाएगी. ठीक है, तो वो करना नहीं अभी. Cult of individual, simply understand this word. Okay. Sir, when we say religion infuses morality, does morality here imply only unity among? Yes, only this. बस इतना ही समझो. Ethics वाला नहीं. Yes, Adarsh. Sachin is demagogue. Okay. Okay, so this was all about it. Tomorrow we will study our last topic and finish Durkheim and start with Karl Marx. Okay. Chalo. Thank you.